Welcome to Embracing Infinity, exploring the infinite oneness in the space of love and truth. Host Jennifer Rose is an international spiritual medium, healer, channeler, mentor, and transformational guide. Her focus is encouraging individuals to know themselves within the lens of their divine heart and highest potential, to evolve within the frequency of love and peaceful harmony. Now, here's your host, Jennifer Rose.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Embracing Infinity. I'm Jennifer Rose, and we are on the Sacred Spiral Network. Happy Friday to everybody. I hope this day is finding you well, happy, and healthy. Whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening for you, I hope you have had a beautiful day so far and a beautiful weekend coming up ahead. We're still in summer, but just for a little bit longer. So change of seasons coming our way, which is a bit exciting. We can kind of feel the change in the air. So that's all kinds of fun for us as well, too. I see a lot of our friends are joining. Hello, everybody who's coming on. Thank you for being here and sharing this space with us today. I'm very excited to be having my special guest, Kelly Brickel, on today. We're going to talk about numbers. So we have a really fun show planned for you. It should be very exciting. We welcome your questions and comments as well, because we love this to be a fun and interactive time that we can all spend together. Kelly is also the producer of the Sacred Spiral Network. So we're going to have extra double fun today, because 1 hour after this show ends, or approximately an hour, maybe a little bit before, grab some lunch, grab some dinner, come back about 1 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. in the UK, and I will be a guest on Kelly's show today. So it's double the love, double the fun. And we are going to be doing some readings when I'm on Kelly's show later as well. So again, join us here today, have a little bite, and then come on back, and we'll be doing some readings and talking a little bit about energy as well. So it's going to be so much fun. So I want to say hi to everyone who's joining. Stacia's here today. Hi, girl. How you doing, Stacia? And there's Miss Fran. Hi, Fran. Good to see you. Thank you for being here today. Jeffrey's here today. Oh, thank you for sending the love. We're sending it right back to y'all. There we go. And Miss Jennifer McCormick is here as well. So hi, everybody. How are all my angels doing? So happy that you're here. And we are streaming on multiple pages today, too. So we're on both of my pages. We're on YouTube. We're on Sacred Spiral Network. We are on, I think, Transcend with Debbie. So multiple pages. Sometimes some of the comments don't all make it in. So if I don't say hi to you, just know I love you. And it's because I didn't see it in time, or it didn't show up for me. So just know that I know it's Friday the 13th. And that's one of the reasons we wanted to talk about numbers today. I want to say hi to Jack Handel, who's joining us as well. Welcome. So I know, right? So a lot of fun. So let's talk about that today for sure, because there's a lot of really interesting history around that. And Kelly, being our expert numerologist, can give us some beautiful insight on the, vibrational nature of 13 as well. So that should be a lot of fun. A couple of other quick announcements. Next week, if you want to go to any events of mine also coming up, I've got my group healing meditation. It's a sitting in the power, trance healing, and channeling that comes with that. It's free for anyone who would like to join. All you have to do is sign up on my website, mediumjenniferrose.com. Next Friday on the Sacred Spiral Network on Embracing Infinity, I've got Steve Spur coming in as my guest. He is the psychic medium, cowboy psychic medium, I should say. And he's a lot of fun, so you don't want to miss that. And he will also be my guest medium the following Sunday, a week from this Sunday, for the Love of Spirit Sunday spiritual service too. So excited to have double the fun next week as well. I've also put a mediumship essentials workshop on my schedule. So if anybody's wanting to explore mediumship and develop their gifts, that's in October. So lots of fun coming your way. And with that, I also want to say hi to Ronnie, who's come on. How are you doing, Ronnie? How's it going over there? Hope all is well for you as well. So thank you all for coming on here today. And thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. Lucky us. It is a lucky day, isn't it? Indeed. So And I love that we can look at things differently and make different decisions and different perspectives on things that come our way. Hi, Krish. Good to see you. Beautiful. And that can include numbers as well. There is a quote, it just popped up in my memories, and it says, some things have to be believed to be seen. It's by Ralph Hodgson. And I know a lot of us will hear that and we're like, yes, because we understand the power of belief and we can use that to create our reality in a very beautiful and exciting way. We can believe in hope, we can believe in love, we can believe in positive outcomes, we can put all of our emotional energy and charge into that to help make a better reality for ourselves and for the external reality that we're seeing around us. We can make a difference in the world too. Um, the opposite could also be true too. So that can go with maybe some of our negative beliefs about things like numbers. And so hopefully Kelly and I can unravel that today. But I would like to offer that perhaps we can reframe some of our existing beliefs around things like numbers and other superstitions, which we put a negative charge into, and learn about them, where they came from, put some history in them, put some more context in them, and perhaps reframe them in a positive light as well. And what would that do collectively? What if we shared that with other people, that more positive perspective, that reframe, and that would have other people would go, and that would start a ripple effect of more positivity. And that feels kind of good. I'm getting kind of chills as I say that. That feels kind of good, doesn't it? So I really love how that feels. So let's do that. Let's do that. Let's all think about that, around that. And I know that spirituality comes with many, many belief systems and ideas, and it's a very intricate, broad perspective. And what I would like to offer is that beliefs can be transient and they can be changing. And as we transform, the beliefs will lessen because we go through those spiritual awakenings and dark nights of the soul and things. And then we move more into the knowings and the cannot denies. And that pool of ideas gets a little bit smaller as we go through time. Once we get to cannot deny, we're just in the, kind of like the highest frequency of everything of what we know. And one thing that was impressed upon me this morning as I was getting ready was that the knowing that we have of what is true, because what is true can change over time as we gather in new information, new ideas, new perspectives, new challenges, new experiences, right? But there is a deep internal knowing, which is different from what I'm going to say is a different, where we think we know things. I know this, I know this, I know this, but there's a deeper internal knowing, which is very intuitive. And that is something that spirit is showing me we can continue to cultivate, because it feels very different than knowings that could change over time, if that makes sense. It feels very soul embodied. It feels very calm and peaceful. It feels very expansive, and it feels very just deep and within your connection. So that is something that we can really kind of tune into to help us develop a compass for moving through what I like to say is the smoke and mirrors of illusions of the physical reality, because it is full of smoke and mirrors and illusions, and we live very much in a mirror reality. So what we believe and put our energy and charge into could get mirrored back to us. So what if we put into those beliefs more positivity, more hope, more faith, more love, and let's let that be mirrored out to us. It may take a little time to reflect back, but it will. And that's pretty exciting. So I hope that's a little bit of food for thought, and this will help just to be a little intro as we get into our numbers. I just want to take a quick break and welcome. Oh, Marie, good to see you. Hi, love. Thanks for coming. Fulham. Hi, Fulham. Thanks for coming. Cheyenne is here as well, too. Hi, Cheyenne. Good to see you. Oh, I love what you're saying, Jennifer. Quite like Friday the 13th, the numbers 13 and 31. Love Halloween and pass my driving test on the 31st of October. I'm oh, you're too funny, Jen. Oh my gosh. Love you, girl. So hi. So so happy you guys are here. You made me laugh. You're so cute. Oh my gosh. So with that, big hugs to everybody. And please, Kelly, come on in. We're so happy and excited to have you here with us. Let's all welcome the producer of the Sacred Spiral Network, psychic medium, numerologist, and many other beautiful things, dear friend and soul, Kelly Brickel.
Hey, hey, I was
Hey,
juggling
girl.
back here. I was like,
Hey.
oh, I'm like, oh,
Did
I
I
won't
talk
click
long
that
enough?
button all of a sudden. No, it was great. It's great because I'm doing things while you're talking. So I'm here. I get to focus
Yay, I'm
now.
so happy you're here. So, well, we love you, girl. So, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. A lot of good soul kind of remembrance. And sometimes we're in the energy of being inspired by reflections and insights. So that energy is very with me today. So I'm doing good. How about yourself, Jennifer?
Yeah, very much the same. It's been a very like peaceful morning and I'm sure because we know we're going to be going live today and we going to, be with our community. And so spirit would definitely be more present with us and putting in us into that kind of reflective, inspirational mode. So yeah, very much the same. It's actually a lovely energy. Oh, Colin just joined us. Hi, Colin. Good to see you.
Lauren, hi, Krish.
Mm,
Hi, Stacia, Cheyenne. Hello, everybody.
the gang's all here. So numbers, it's Friday the 13th. Do you want to
Yes.
tackle numbers? I know you're a numerologist, and so I know you have a perspective on numbers that's broader than most of us. So we welcome, your knowledge and expertise to this one.
Thank you. Well, there's so much to be said with numbers, and with energy. We grow up being told how to see things like, oh, that's the color red, that's the color green, that's the color blue, and then we're given these distinctions within life, like, is red a good color? Is red a bad color? People associate sometimes things with others perspectives. And the same with numbers. I mean, the number 13 in some cultures or in some perspectives, it's actually a revered number. It's actually a very special number. It's a number that symbolizes transformation and completion and like mastery. So it's a very respected and honored number. And then other cultures, it's been looked at as unlucky or kind of spooky and like the dark side is supernatural, misunderstood. And it's been axed out from a lot of things like within our culture. I mean, the clock stops at 12, it doesn't go to 13. All right.
Hmm.
And in airplanes, a lot of times, not always, and I've seen kind of reverse on this a little bit, but it still exists. There's no row 13 in a lot of planes. They'll actually
Wow.
omit that row because it's considered unlucky and people don't want to buy their seats in that row. Um,
Right. Hotel
yeah,
rooms sometimes. So hotel. I don't think so much anymore, but a lot of the older hotels would skip the floor 13 too. So it goes way back in history, and I did a little bit of studying on it. And some of the unlucky associations are just basically errors, and some of them are just the way that it was interpreted. And if you just kind of like take some of that apart, then you start to see, oh, this wasn't quite what we thought it was to be. I know with I think it was there's a reference in the Babylonian texts, and like it was just literally a clerical error that 13 was omitted in the passages or something, and it was really, and so they just assumed it was unlucky. So those beliefs that go all the way back many hundreds of years and even into biblical times, have been carried with us through all this time. But what if they're not true? You know, what if they're not true? And yeah.
what if they're not true? And there's a lot of things to talk about what is truth. And 13, I feel is actually one of the truth numbers. There's different numbers that represent different things in numerology. And so we could go into that whole aspect because it's culturally or belief systems, right? What have we been raised around? What is our environment? But then there's also the energy of numbers. And with 13, that is a 4 vibration, because within Pythagorean Western numerology, that's the one that I specialize in, because some people do numerology differently. So this is just from my perspective and how I understand energy from a more technical way. Some people view the vibration of 13 just as 4 with, some kind of 13 energy attached to it. So with 4, that is a serious number. That is a number about practicality. It's about really getting to the bare bones of what something is. It's about looking at things a little bit more logically, and just accepting the cold, hard facts. So when people have 13 energy, and most times it's because someone's born on the 13th, they come into this world with like this kind of understanding of, I really have to size things up, or life is going to have to make me size things up differently from others. So they have this like lens of, at times, they won't just buy the BS, or other people will kind of feel from them that they have to be a little bit more careful around them because they seem more serious, and they seem like they can't pull the wool over their eyes in the same way as they can other people. So whether life with the number 13 makes other people feel that 13 from you, or life puts you in situations where you have to wake up a little bit differently than others, and so you get a little bit more cynical earlier than life, a little more serious earlier than life, and go, well, I kind of see a little bit on the harsher level, or the more deeper level of how life can be difficult. I learned that a little bit earlier, and so I take that into my perspectives. So I definitely see that within people within the number 13 that they're born into as well.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking, that's really beautiful. And speaking of like, the months and the days and things too, as well. I the first thing I think is like, be nice to people if they have birthday on the 13th. Can you imagine like being a kid and being teased or something like that? Like that's not very nice to do to people. But speaking of the calendar, there are a lot of 13-month versions of the calendar. Some people even think maybe, the 12-month was created kind of to sort of keep knowledge away from us, or to hide knowledge away from us too. Because if you take 365 and a fourth day divided by 28, you get 13 months. You get 13 28-day months. And a lot of places still do that, or at least historically, there's many versions of the calendar with 13-month. And I think there's an African country that still actually, they go by a 13-month calendar as well. And then we were talking earlier, it's like the Celtic lunar calendar. Their 13-month was Sol. It was for sun. And I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful, because it's in between June, July. So it would have gone June, Sol, July for sun because of the solstice. And that was so beautiful. And I was like, oh, I wish we had that month. So it's so fun to learn about these things, because then it expands our perceptions and our understandings. And I feel like with that, we gain insight and wisdom, and we can help to let go of fears and bring in more positive things into our life in place of those fears, more empowerment. Hi, Dominic. Good to see you.
Yeah, there's a lot of things with 13 where you would have to kind of dive into a specific culture's history and go, well, where was that kind of honored or disregarded? I mean, even in, I just know a little bit here and there with some stories, but in Japanese culture with the Eastern zodiac, and I'm sure everyone's familiar with that. That's like year of the dragon, this year we are year of the dragon. That's the Eastern zodiac and all the different animals. Well, there's 12 cycles, just like there's 12 months. But with the original story, with how the zodiac goes, there was 13 originally. There was 13 animals. And the whole, I guess, background was the animals were going to race for the order of how their months would go. And they sized up everybody, and they thought that the cat had the best advantage to win, because the cat was cunning, fast, and strategic. And they actually considered the cat the most dangerous opponents, with what it was going to take to win the race. So they drugged the cat and made the cat fall asleep so that it didn't wake up the day of the race. And so there was only 12 contestants, and the rat wound up winning. So, and the year of the rat starts the cycle, and it ends with the year of the pig, and then it resets itself. And those are in the order of which animal won the race. The dragon was the fifth to win the race. And there's all, like, it's a beautiful story. There's all reasons why everyone's in a certain placement, and why, you're wondering, oh, the rat won against the dragon or the ox or the tiger. And it was because the rat was the most strategic and cunning, and things like that. He had a little strategy to win at the end. But yeah, there was supposed to be 13. There was supposed to be 13 animals in the zodiac, and they actually omitted it in the story
that's
itself.
interesting. Because there is a year, isn't there a year of the dog? There is a dog, and I'm sure a lot of people wondered, where was the cat in all of this? Oh, asleep, asleep.
They reference it sometimes, like, oh, this would have been the year of the cat. And there's some, I've looked into it in the past, and I don't know enough to really speak on it, but it's almost like, the leap year, right? At times
Yeah,
it's referenced, but yeah, there's
yeah.
no year of the
And
cat, but it actually was, a thing of it could have
right.
been.
And people do reference sometimes a 13 sign zodiac as well too. I can't remember what they call the 13th sign, but I know that some people reference that as well. That we were supposed to have 13 zodiac signs in the astrology that we most know commonly too. I want to real quick say hi to 13 was removed on so many levels, yeah. And so then you stop and wonder, like, well, what's there to be scared of, or what are they hiding from us? So sometimes that kind of element kind of comes in as well. I want to say hi to Simon as well. Allison is here too. How you guys doing? Christine is here. Hi, Christine. And Ladybug. Ooh, hi, Ladybug. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming on too. Zero, positive, negative. Exactly. So that's a whole nother magical. I like that. Zero, positive, magical. Negative,
Zero's
positive.
good.
Yeah.
Zero's good. Zero's an amplifier number in numerology. It's a good thing. It just
Yeah.
intensifies other numbers. It's a good thing.
Is that kind of like the void, kind of like the birth of the nothingness is the birth of all creation in a sense, it's like the womb. Isn't that interesting?
Yes, that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
That's why it can't, since it's the void, it can't be defined. So it's not looked at as a number in numerology, but it amplifies other things. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. Okay. We also thought we might dive into the sixes as well too, which is interesting too, because I looked into the sixes, and that's got a historical connotation that was really just misinterpreted. That has a like biblical connotation with the sixes. And I always feel for people who maybe have like triple sixes on their license plates and things like that. Hi, Debbie. How you doing, love? Too. And I know you can break down like, the sixes add up to 18, and which adds up to 9. But what I read up was that it was actually a reference to Caesar, and it was written in code. And so the sixes were to the way that the letters were spelt. I think it's Latin or Greek, with the letters were spelled kind of added up in that way. So it was code to basically say, Caesar is a bad guy, Jesus is a good guy. But they misinterpreted the reference because it was supposed to be a man, not a beast, or not an evil type of entity or anything like that. And so it's interesting how all of that time from then has carried into that too. But that's pretty much what they meant by that, and how that was misinterpreted. So it's interesting to see how over the centuries people have taken the folklore and the myths, and it's really stood a test of time too. But I love being able to add something that maybe we can neutralize some of that and just love numbers as they are too. But what could you do to help break down like the numerology of the sixes too? Because I always associated sixes with love, when from spirit world, what I got channel wise and intuitive wise is that the sixes was unconditional love. That's what it means for me when I see that number.
Sure. So yeah, it gets really interesting. All numbers are neutral within themselves, but they have like certain qualities. So they're not good or bad, but they have certain aspects that can, in human form, make us do or feel more things in a way where if we overdo it, like we can, get into some moral questioning territory. If we underdo it, with the energetic qualities we've been given, we're not living up to our full potential, right? So the numbers can stimulate a lot of different things within us, a lot of different choices. But the energy is neutral. We're the ones that are not neutral. So six, just in itself, in Western numerology, Pythagorean numerology, it is a number of really maternalism of how can I protect my flock? How can I be good to those around me? It's a very overtly generous number. It's a very people serving number. It's a very charismatic number. It's actually probably the most charismatic out of all the numbers. It pulls people in, and naturally the six wants to be of service. So it really gives people a purpose within a community sense and in a fulfillment sense with how can I honor you, and we are the same, we are connected. It makes people feel that very instinctively, and it gives a very family kind of you're one of us kind of feeling. So I could go deeper into it, but when someone has a lot of six energy, what are they going to be? They're going to be more intensely that way, right? So there's people with triple sixes in their chart, just like there's triple twos within their chart, triple ones, right? But that's the thing. And if you're born in um, September and you are born on a certain year, you will have a triple set within your chart. And so it does happen within people, but it's usually like people born within a certain year on a certain month to make the conditions to have them have triple numbers. Anyway, so it's more common, I guess, than you'd expect, right? But it's not super common for this to happen. But what am I trying to say? So if someone has triple numbers, or in this way, because we're talking about superstitious numbers, a triple six, they're going to be a very exaggerated version of the six, and they can, because they're human, they can be either that way in a positive way or a negative way. Again, because they're human, not because of the number itself. And so what's a more negative side that is expressed within the human if they're very sixy? Well, well, actually, it's kind of funny because in numerology, like it's usually a foxy number. Like it's the Don Juan, it's the seductress. So there's no coincidence with that. They pull people in. They pull people in, and they can paint fantasy for people because they know how to make them feel good, and they like being around people. It's part of that six. How can I take care of you? How can I be good to you? Oh, you like my energy, I like you too. And
So
they're
it's the number
very,
of the player. So they're players. Is that what you're saying?
they can be, but people are very attracted to them. There's
Mhm.
like there's a fire within the six. People go, what is that? And it's not like, how can I put it? Three sixes and nines pull people in. Okay, they're people
Mhm.
numbers. They pull people in, but the three is like, oh, like that person's fun. Like, okay, like let me just come on over and talk to the person, and I will feel like they will accept me, right? It's this lighthearted, like, ooh, okay, let's just, hang out. What's up? Right? Six is, what is it about that person? Wow, there's like an intensity about that person. I don't know what it is. I'm intrigued, and I feel warm and familiar with them, and I feel myself like opening up to them and like kind of surrendering to them in a way where I feel like I'm safe around this person, but at the same time,
Mhm.
like I feel like they can take care of me. So it's almost like they won't fully understand why, but since that person carries a maternal and sometimes paternal vibe, they will surrender and be like, "Hey, take care of me. Hey, can you lead me? Hey, I will go with you." Right?
Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
the six kind of has this power around people. And then the 9 is like this more esoteric feeling of I'm drawn to this person and I don't know why. And I think they have this ignatic, I can't say it, ignatic. I can't say it. I'm going to say this mysterious,
Enigmatic. Yeah. Enigmatic.
enigmatic
For enigma.
quality where that makes them special. You know, I want to learn about what makes them tick. I want to learn who they are. I want to emanate those qualities. So it brings out the spiritual qualities within a person of how they want to evolve and how they want to be more expansive. So it's very interesting. Like, you know, I could get really into it. 3 is like this airy kind of fun. 6 is like this fiery earthiness. And like 9 is like this fiery spiritual kind of more vibration that gets unleashed. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, because I can go in a million different directions with this, when someone has a lot of 6 energy, they do have a magnetic pull. Yes, this comes out. But since they have this maternal, let me take care of you, I'm in service of you, they get into a very controlling vibration. If they're on their in the negative qualities of their human self, they'll be like, oh, mother knows best or father knows best. I can see it a better way. I can do it a better way. Don't you understand that I'm here for you? And so 6, when negatively employed, can be extremely manipulative, extremely I'm the one in charge. You need to just trust me, let go of all other thoughts, just trust me. Don't you understand I'm here for you? So yeah, it kind of goes with a lot of archetypes and themes of somebody deviating from the original plan because they're like, I'm the one that knows best. I'm the one that will, you know, lead you to salvation. And I'm so charismatic that, you know, you should follow me. It's very interesting.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
it's very much the kind of like the light side and the dark side of all that too. So it's very illuminating and enlightening.
It's very
And
illuminating
so
and
what
light.
could we do? What could we do with like the triple sixes? So that would add up to 18, which also add up to a 9. And
Yeah.
then I do want to get to the odd numbers because we started at 1111 and that wasn't planned. And I wanted to talk about 911 too, if we can squeeze that in too. But let's go to the triple, the trio of the
Sure.
sixes. What can we do
Sure.
to make people feel better about it and less scared of it? Like, how can we just like let go of fear and make it
Sure.
something at least neutral, if not positive?
Sure. So like, well, let's go to the positive route. If someone was extremely sixy, have a lot of sixes, right? They're going to be really warm and they're going to be kind and they're going to have all this extra energy to give and they want to be around others. They want to be of service truly. So a lot of people with sixes are very, very active within their family. They want to be mothers. They want to be fathers. If they're not active within their own family, they're the fantastic uncle or aunts. Or if they are very connected to their career, as even while they're still involved with family, they're the nurse or the doctor. A lot of nurses and doctors have 6 in their
Hmm.
chart. Or they're in the military. They have laid down their life to serve. Truly. So
Yeah.
they are at the highest peak. They're very selfless individuals, and all they hope for is a thank you, but they'll show up and do it anyway. And you really have
Yeah.
to, right, like kind of go through a lot to say, hey, I'm not going to give myself in this way. I got to go do something different. Because when they show up
Yeah.
instinctively, they're like, I'm here to work. I'm here to work. I will, um, you know, stay longer and it's okay. I don't have to be paid for it. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Or
that too. And then if we add them up and we get to a 9, is that kind of like completion energy or end of a cycle energy with the 9?
so it depends how the 9 placement is. So like just like the 6 is, if the 6 is in a chart in a certain way, I'll bring out certain personality traits and wants and desires. And same with the 9. So it depends on how the 9 is within a person's chart or in the world chart. So we're all sharing world energy right now, and we're all in the 8th year, and we're all in an 8-month right now. Next year will be a 9 for us. But 9 is about transformation and completion. So 13 is about transformation, but it's not about completion. And the 9 is, hey, you finish the cycle. You have the knowledge, or you come into this world with actually knowledge at your disposal to help you navigate and be a really good survivor, so you can do what you need to do. So 9s are gifted additional gifts and insight, so they can really call upon their reserves to get things done. They get things done well, and they are the embodiment of the completion number, and spiritually and physically.
I love that. I love that. That's really cool too. And then we had a question from Jack about odd numbers and even numbers. Are they associated with masculine and feminine too?
Oh,
Um,
interesting. That's a great question. I think there's something to be found in numbers always, and so in that realm, I haven't found anything versus an odd versus an even. That's not saying that there isn't any. Um, but yeah, I mean, certain numbers are more masculine and certain numbers are more feminine. Definitely. The 13 is a little bit more of a masculine number than a feminine. That's for sure. If you want to kind of go into
yeah, and
something.
then you said the
But
six was
odds
the
and
six was
evens,
the 6 was leaning more feminine, if I remember you said, right?
6
Yeah.
is leaning more
So
feminine.
interesting. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that I like that. I like that too.
And you,
Um,
if I may too, you asked about like the triple six adds up
yeah,
to a 9. So, right, like at the end of the day, the triple six with superstitious numbers, that is a master vibration um, of 9. It's a triple six, but
yeah,
ultimately
right.
it's a 6 and a 9, and you're having to look at the 9 ultimately. So it is about spiritual transformation, but it's from these energetics of service and really what it means to be a healthy family and a healthy community, and how to be responsible with how you affect people and what you want
I
to do for
love
people.
that. It's a much more positive way to look at it too. So I love that we can kind of, and I'm getting a little bit emotional with that because I can feel spirit kind of coming in stronger as we talk about that, of trying to move us in a direction that's less fearful and more faithful too as well. And I know one thing I wanted to also ask Kelly is, we get these numbers as signs and synchronicities, like Jennifer is saying, the 1111, the 1122s, and these are all her special numbers and twos. And so we see these numbers, and they could be any numbers, but we often will get the triple numbers and things when we're going through spiritual awakening and transformation. We'll start seeing 333 in the clock, or we'll get woken up at 3:33 in the morning. Why you guys do that, spirit? I don't know that, but they do. They're like, because we can. but but
Look here now.
so that happens. So that's a thing that happens a lot. And so sorry for your partner,
Can you see
Jennifer.
the
I know she's getting
numbers up top too by
lots
the
of love.
live? It's really quick. Can you see the
Hmm.
numbers up top? Oh,
38,
they just
23.
changed.
Oh, 23 and 11.
They were
What
just
were they
22
when
and 11 as you were talking about 22 and 11.
Wh-
Okay. So
I
I'm
know with
sorry.
Jennifer,
I
like
wanted you to see it.
no, you can't make this stuff up too. And we went live at 11:11. It was supposed to be 11, but we were, getting our tech all worked out. And it turned out we pressed the button at 11:11. It wasn't planned that way. It just happened. So that worked out well. But I know like another number a lot of people get that's been happening for several years as a sign in synchronicities is 911 too. And here, in America, we kind of associate that with the Twin Towers. And so people sometimes get scared if they keep seeing 911s, but it's a really common spiritual awakening synchronicity number to get. And I don't think it was meant to be, associated with like danger or tragedy. I was wondering if you could shed a little bit of light on that, because a lot of people see those particular numbers as a synchronicity for them on the clock and license plate and things.
Sure. Yeah. And so, right, when you're looking at the number itself, you're going to add up the sum and you're going to see what that sum is. So, 9 plus 11 is a 2 vibration. It's ultimately a 2 vibration. And we don't think that when we see it because we go 9 and 11. And, when we talked about 13, that's a 4 vibration. We talked about the triple six, that's a 9 vibration. But when you see triple numbers or double numbers, you're always going to look at those additionally because it's a repeating sequence. So 11 is 2, 2 ones, 9, 11. So it's a 2 vibration, but you're going to honor the 1 in it too as well. And so uh, Anissa is asking, what about birthday numbers? So this all
Mhm.
applies to birthday numbers, license plates. Of course, your birthday number, you look into additional information, of course, because that's about you. But this works for all numbers and reading all numbers and understanding what the number essence actually means. So really quick, I'll start with kind of 9/11. Well, within our culture, it is a sign for help. And in numerology, I've actually seen other numerologists say when
Yeah,
you
'cause
see
we put 911 on the phone, yeah, for help. Yeah.
when you see the 911 come up in signs and symbols, it does kind of reiterate that message, help,
Yeah.
alert, or someone who has 911 in their chart, they really do have the capabilities to help. They're very good first responders. They will lead and show up places and kind of be in situations that other people don't even kind of understand how to show up for. They'll just be like, "Oh, I had a feeling I should be here," right? So they're like, kind of like superheroes. They know how to help. They have the capabilities. 9, because I'm breaking down what's in the 2 sequence. 9 is the completion number. They have the survival tools just to figure out how to get it done. And 1, they have this uniqueness where they beat to they dance to the beat of their own drum, and they honor the calling. So very intuitive, or it doesn't matter if anyone else is listening. I'm going to go and I'm going to show up, or I'm going to try this or do that. So when you combined 9 and 1 together, you get very capable people, usually. Um, but that 911, it's the 2 ultimately, and so it's about, like, again, like, this kindness and consideration, and how can I truly, truly help in a way of that comes from a compassionate way that's bigger than myself. When you get into a lot of the higher vibrations of numerology, it's really like, how can I help? But it's very different in what way with the numbers. 2 wants to soothe, 9 just goes, you don't have to give me a definition for anything. I'm just going to show up and help. And 1 is, I feel like I can do the job. It's that superhero kind of vibration. I feel like I can show up and I'm the one to help. I just felt like I needed to be here.
That's so cool, Kelly. Thank you. That's so, so cool. I love that too. So, um, let's see. Jennifer is saying her triple numbers are 333, 555, 777, and 888. And recently been seeing 1010. Not sure why.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
I love that too. So, like that 1010, so that's ultimately a 2 vibration. Okay, so you look at the sum total, but you're seeing the ones and zeros, and so ultimately you're supposed to get the 2 message. Okay, so focus on the sum total, like I said, and it's really about honoring your emotions and sensitivities and making sure that you are allowing yourself to dare to dream. Okay?
Yeah.
Because that 0 is that amplifier number. What are you going to do with the 1 energy? What are you going to do with the 1 energy? They're trying to rev you up and feel like you're an individual and your dreams do matter and you need the motivation and you need the focus. So what are you going to do about it? You know, you can look after you too. Okay? But it's all coming from that 2 vibration of, this is important for you to feel like who you are, feel who you are, become who you are, take care of who you are. So there's the vibration, and then the so it's the 2, but the 1 and the zeros are the vehicle for the message for the 2 to be delivered to you.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I hope that's helpful, Jennifer. That was so cool. And Anais is saying, "Oh, Stacia, that's my
Ah, yeah.
dad, and why I believe 911 connects to her dad being a fireman. That makes perfect sense for her. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, and I love how you said it's help. So we can think maybe not have to associate it with fear, like fear something bad's going to happen, but associate it with help of helping energy. That's a positive reframe, of that help is always here for us. I'm rubbing my nose with that. So that's important, and that, we can help. So I love just that word help. Like, it can be a positive thing. Help is for us and help is in us too. And there's the two.
There's so much positive. There's so much
There's the two.
positivity.
We love the twos.
The twos are very nice. The twos are very nice. But it's really no coincidence that her dad's a fireman and he had 911 in his chart. There's no coincidence.
Yeah. I saw 911s all the time when I was in early stages of my spiritual awakening. Hey, Ed, good to see you. I saw 911s all the time, and I knew a lot of other people did. I would see it at night. I would see it in the morning, go down for a cup of tea, look at the clock, it's 911. Like, go down for a cup of coffee, look at the clock, it's 911. And it's eventually changed, and then I was seeing triple numbers on license plates everywhere I went. And so I know it's definitely associated with the signs and synchronicities as well. Everybody's getting in those. And what I want to say too with them is, I know we're so apt to want to look up the meaning, but even just getting that synchronicity in itself is fun, because you might get 20 different meanings of different numbers that you're seeing out there too, just by trying to Google them. But just the fact that you're getting them is reminding you that you're connected to something, very big that you're part of. And so I love that too. Oh, Cheyenne, your niece's birthday is on 9/11, having her party tomorrow. Okay, beautiful. Tell her happy birthday for us, from all of us. Thank you, Cheyenne, too. And then we have a question, Jack, the significance of mirrored numbers, 0, 4, and 40. Like that.
Sure. Well, it depends on kind of how they're showing up. But they're there. The order actually isn't always important, because you're looking at the sum total. Okay. So the only time you're really going to kind of look at the order is, again, when you're worried about placements a little bit more. And so you have to go, I have to look at this number because I'm taking it in this manner. Okay. But normally, if you're seeing, because a lot of people see numbers, right? And they're like, I saw it in this order. Does that change things? No, the sum total is still the same. But if you are seeing 0, 4 and 40 a lot in different ways, and let's say, and all mixed up, patterns, it will let you know something about yourself. I always believe that the way that you're seeing energy is a mirror reflection of yourself and what you're going through. So why not within the mirror reverse of numbers appearing to you? What is reality? Who are you? Who are you? Can you accept the energy in this way? Have you learned a lesson like that? How truly flexible are you to understanding what is? So I think it does kind of come in like that. But it's still ultimately the same energy. But do we accept it when we see it? Because sometimes we just accept things for how they appear, but the energy is the same. So there's something within that needed to be said.
It's very existential of you, Kelly. You're speaking my language, girlfriend. All right. Dominic is saying, got me all excited with that. What is reality? Oh my gosh, let's have another show on that. Okay. Dominic is saying, I love the mention of license plates. His social network is small, so spirit messages him through numbers. And he was frequently seeing 171 recently, and today it's 717. I was just thinking of 717 too, because it reminds me of, because me, I'm the infinity girl, so the 8. So it goes to me, 717 kind of goes like a mirrored number 88. That's how I interpret it when I see it too, of kind of like that, infinite eternal love too. So that's really interesting, Dominic. So 171 and 717. What say you, Kelly?
So the sevens and the ones are catching your attention. That's important. I wouldn't be surprised if you have sevens or ones in your chart. I wouldn't be surprised. And then so 171, that's a 9 vibration, but 717 is a 6 vibration. Okay. So really you're kind of honoring what's coming to you the most. Okay. So yes, you have a 6 and a 9, but are you seeing one more than the other? Okay. So they're trying to, how can I put this? When I say they're trying to catch your attention, for us, like Jennifer and myself, that's spirit, because we are really acquainted with psychic mediumship and the messages of the universe. And we really believe in messengers and guides and everything, and however the energy comes in. But for people who like are just wondering about number vibrations, like the universe is made up of vibrations, and there's certain ones that call to you and vibrate at a rate that you are vibrating within yourself. Okay, so the universe like longs to have you look at yourself in the perspective of something greater and say, can we bring up this quality in you? Can we bring up this quality within you? And they're speaking to you in the ones and sevens. Now, if you can let me know which comes up more, 171. It sounds like that's the one, but that's a 9. And so the 9 is really asking for you to like unleash your like your beautiful creativity, whether it's seen as unique or weird, and stop overthinking things. Stop overthinking things and use all your gifts, because you have a very strong mind, to allow yourself to know where to go and then just act. Okay? Allow yourself to know where to go and to be in that divine frequency, but just go. I have everything that I need. Don't overthink it, and not based on the opinions of other people. And you said, ha
I
ha
love
ha,
it.
classic.
Yeah, he says he sees the 171 more often these days. That's funny. Hey, Michael, how you doing? And hi, Crystal. Good to see you both. Marie was asking about 828. It's her son's birthday, and she and so why is that I see his birthday? She says it. She
Let
sees
me
it
look up.
daily. She
Let
sees
me go
828
up.
daily.
Let me, sorry, I was just about to finish with
Oh,
all
you
my,
want to?
I
Yeah,
got
of
a little
course.
distracted. All I'm going to say is just really guide me after this sentence. So the 171, those are all mental frequencies, but ultimately it's a 9 vibration. So that's about the head bowing down to spirit, the head bowing down to the heart. It's about, yes, you overthink, but what are you going to do about it? And you can't worry about it. You have to act now. So just reiterating that. Okay. And
Beautiful.
then,
And I
sorry.
think we're all overthinkers, aren't we? Classic
To
overthinkers.
this
I just want to say you're not alone, Dominic. We all do that.
But the ones and sevens, the ones and sevens and fives are the most overthinkers in all of numerology, and then eight can be as well. But
Got it. Got it.
yeah, 1, 7s, and 5s are all mental vibrations. They're all expansive mental they live their if you have that a lot in your chart, you live your life in the imagination realm. And it's always about how you can think before you act. And you'll plan things out way more than the average person, or you will detach more easily than the average person because you're not as in your body. You don't have as much like people numbers or grounding numbers.
That sounds very
So
mercurial too. So then I start to wonder like how that's going to correspond into the astrological chart as well. So that would be a whole
yeah.
nother show of putting the numbers and the astrology together too. So that would be super
So
cool. I love that. I love that.
when I saw these vibrations, because he was talking about 7s and 1s calling at him, ultimately, even though he has a 9
Yeah.
message, I was like, that has to be a part of him. That's no coincidence. And all those are heavily logical or overthinking numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome because it helps him to understand himself better too. It's like helps with that know thyself journey. And so those messages are beautiful signs, from the universe for you too. So that's really number. So 175 is mental. Crystal was asking, is that those
Yes.
were the numbers you were saying? Yeah,
Yes, those are
175 too.
more mental based. I like to call them so mental frequencies. Yes, I would say that absolutely, but I like to call them the mental expansive
Oh, I
frequencies,
love
because
that.
those people, the people with 1s, 7s, and 5s, they don't like to be held down. They don't like to be controlled, so that they will escape a lot of times within their mind, or they will. If you're a 5. You'll physically escape. I got to go travel. I got to go do this. I got to. They want. They're freedom lovers, but it usually comes out within the mental realm the most. Yes, and
Yeah, I
yes.
love that too.
So mental
And
expansion freedom numbers. Yeah.
I do want to get to Marie because she was talking about 828, but I mean, everything you say just keeps opening these like bigger questions. And I'm like, oh God, I wish we had more time, because I wonder if the numbers, even if those aren't our numbers, like I may not be that number, but then those energies could be in play kind of on a collective too, to where there's more collective overthinking or mental energy or just expansive. I love the word expansive because that's more positive to me, like that expansive energy, right? And that feels very positive to me and opening to me, versus like when we go into like the fearful things, it's more contractive, which is not bad. It's just the squeeze that gets us back into the expansion. But I just wonder if there's like sort of a collective things that happen with the numbers as well too. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, Jennifer, you're
absolutely.
right. The universe speaks. We just have to listen. Absolutely. She's got that right. All right. So 828.
Universe speaks, we just have to listen. Okay. And then 828, where are you? Okay. So I see 828 daily, and 828 is my son's birthday. Oh yeah, so yes. And this is why I'll feel it sometimes, but I'll ask people it too as well. A lot of times when you see numbers repeatedly, it's a loved one's birthday. I see that happen so many times for people. Or like when I do numerology sessions, people tell me I see this all the time. And then I go, oh, what does it mean to you? Because either something energetically is coming to you and wants you to interact with that energy, or something that you're already connected to is trying to stimulate you to think and grow, right? So when I started becoming a numerologist, I'd go, what does that number mean to you? And then we can kind of get into it further. And a lot of times people would say, oh, it's, my son's birthday, or my dad's birthday, or my birthday, or my lucky number. So a lot of these numbers that we see a lot of times have actually sentimental value. And it happens a lot more than you think it does with people. So your son is, let's see, okay, so August 28th. So August 28th, I would have to know more about the year information with him. But with the 828, that is, so he's a 1. And if I was just doing his birthday, now this is differently, right? Than how I just look at the sum total. But if I was doing his birthday, I would know that he was a 1-9. Okay. But if I'm just looking at the numbers without addressing his birthday, that is just the 9. It's just a 9 sum total. So there is this spiritual aspect to your son, whether he fights it or not. Like, he is an old soul, and he in his life has had to take on more than the average person. And let me see if you're still in the house, Marie. I'm scrolling down. Marie, I don't see her yet.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, when someone has a 9 placement like your son does, is basically saying from a young age he had to grow up faster, and because of that he has all this kind of natural spiritual survival. She's saying definitely old soul.
Yeah.
And it's kind of reminding you to activate that within yourself. Okay. So the souls that are around us help us to navigate life, because we go, wow, they were able to do it like this, or they inspire me, whether it's positive or negative inspiration or insights we learn through the lens of other people. So spirit is really calling you to embody the qualities that your son has shown you within his own life. So that's how I would interpret it.
I love that. That's beautiful. And I know Marie, she's lovely and she's very intuitive as well. So not surprised her son would be too as that well. So um this is like so fascinating, Kelly, too. And y'all, Kelly can do your chart. She can do your numerology chart and your astrology chart too. She's done that for me, and it's very illuminating, enlightening, and it helps you to know yourself more too. So I just make sure I want to throw that out there, because you can tell how good she is at what she does. And one thing I love about you too, Kelly, is you're able to do things in a way that's very empowering, so when we've had discussions about numbers, certain numbers that will fall in certain times of your life and experiences that you have associated with those numbers, and then if those numbers are showing up again, you're like, well, now you know it's just the energy. So now you know like what you can do with it and how you can make it better and turn it. And so it's like, I love, because you're like, it's just the energy. And so that's all you have to, think about it, instead of like getting worried about a number, or concerned or fearful of numbers and how they show up in your life. You just say, oh, that's just the energy. And then what could we do to help continue bringing that into the oh, you're welcome, Marie. Yeah. She got the chills and the happy tears, so she's feeling spirit. To continue to cultivate, a more neutral, positive attitude for the numbers, that how they show up in our life in the multitude of ways.
Sure. Um, so it's really like you're saying, and thank you. It's just the energy forecast. Okay. And so we have global forecast, and we check in with the weatherman or the weather lady, and we go, what's going down? Is there gonna be showers or torrential storms or landslides? Like what's going on? And we get ready for that, right? And
Hmm.
we don't feel helpless within our environment. Okay. Like if there's an earthquake coming, we evacuate, right? So if there's an energetic earthquake happening within our spouse, or like with our boyfriend or girlfriend or partner, we can go, oh, this is a difficult month. We're going to kind of be conflicting during this time, and it can create upheaval. Or, wow, this is a great month to plan a trip. Like things are going to go swimmingly because we have all these numbers, and it's just going to help us open up to abundance and fun. And things will go off with more ease, or without a hitch, if you plan a trip around a certain time for yourself, like fives, like it's a whole thing within itself. You go, like I said,
Oh, those fives. We know about the
fives.
fives. Everything's
Fives
going to
help.
change.
Fives help. No, but seriously, if you have fives within your chart, and if you're not moving, chaos will ensue, because five wants movement, right? So if you're not moving, the five will create movement. So if you are traveling during a five, you are appeasing the movement and having the best time of your life. And then you figure out how to do that based on, how much five energy you have in your chart too. But like it's things like this. So you go with the forecast, and you swim with the waves. And
Oh, I
it's
love that. You
true.
go with the forecast, you swim with the waves. I love that.
Yeah,
You should
you
make
learn
a
how to
post on
surf.
that.
Words are fun, right?
I know,
It's
aren't
true.
they?
Words are fantastic.
The forecast swim with the
And
waves.
gotta learn how to swim with the wave. Yeah, you don't want to go against the currents. And when we go against the currents,
Yeah.
we have a lot of wonkiness and inner turmoil, or really difficult conditions on planet Earth, right? And it's very true. So the more spiritual a person is, so knows themselves, surrenders to things they can't control, does self work, and really looks through that neutral lens, and is always humble and growing and compassionate, um, you're going to be the most flexible person with dealing with numbers, because you are open to all vibrations. And so, thus, you are open to all people. But no matter how spiritual you are, you're just going to get along with certain types of people easier than others, because they are wanting and desiring and manifesting things that are similar within your soul too, or they do things in a way where you do things, and you have commonalities and similarities, and you just go, wow, I didn't even have to explain it, you just knew. Yeah,
Yes,
I work with that energy all
resonance.
the
So
time.
there's a
Resonance.
resonance and alignment, a compatibility, and you just feel that, the frequent it's like a frequency match, because the numbers contain a frequency. I love that too. And I was thinking too about what you said with the surfing the waves too, because that's what I put it in a little bit of a different context. But I tell people, like, people are so afraid of change because they get in their comfort zone and transformation, and the fives show up and things like that. And so what I try to say is, like, if we can actually purposely create more change, and like you said, more movement, try new things, go to different places, try something different on the menu, or go to a different restaurant, any kind of thing that welcomes change. It also helps, like, your personality self to kind of feel more comfortable and safe with it too. But like you said, it creates the movement so that the movement isn't creating chaos for you too. So we can actively do that. So I feel like that's matching what you said too with the numbers.
It's a pretty big deal because if you understand what's coming up within your chart, and this is the same with astrology, but I'm not as adept in astrology. But if you notice certain themes, you basically figure out how to transmute that energy in the most advantageous or positive way. We can't control things, ultimately because they're there for a higher purpose, but we can ride the waves, right, in a more effective way for us. So in numerology, like a 2 month, that is always about diving into your emotions and feeling things, and you'll be forced to feel things. If you're not a feeler, you will be forced to feel things. You'll be more angry, you will be more sad, you will feel overwhelmed. So you can either just experience it and it's more uncomfortable and fight it, or you can lean into it and surrender. But with spirituality and these systems, you start to understand energy and go, all right, I surrender, but then now I understand what this energy is. And now I can meet my lessons with a whole greater evolution of wonderment, right? And that's when
Yes,
like the
I
free
love it.
will and the fate really play together. I feel well, it's a whole philosophical
That's
thing, but
beautiful.
you embrace the lesson.
I love that. I love it. Embracing infinity. Imagine that.
Embrace infinity. There you go, you embrace the
uh, okay. I know we're getting a little short on time because we have to go. We have another show. Your show.
oh.
Just a short period of time. The ocean is like time. You can't hold on to it. Yeah. It's just.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. Very, very poignant and poetic too. There was a question about, is there numbers of abundance? Let go and let God. I love that, Jennifer, too. So I'd like to answer that one real quick, and then we'll finish up and take a little lunch break, and then we'll come back on your show.
Sure, you got it. Here it is. Okay, I was looking
Yeah.
for it. Is there a number of abundance? Absolutely. All numbers can be abundant. Again, they all have their wonderful, wonderful traits and they all have power. But 8 is the number of abundance in numerology because it is
Yay.
all about, yeah, the infinity sign 8, right? Um, 8 is about material power, physical power, like and truth manifesting in physical form. And so on earth, our abundance a lot of times deals with our health and money, okay? Because that allows us to have flexibility and make more choices, just the way kind of planet Earth goes. Okay, but I mean, if you have a healthy body, if you have your health, that is greater than any wealth. It really is. But you have the flexibility on earth to do things because your body, your vehicle is in good standing. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
really, like in a lot of spiritual cultures, it's not always talked about, but it is believed that if you are wealthy, it's a sign that your spirituality is strong because you are a powerful attractor. And really, it's because, sometimes the family was a powerful attractor and it got trickled down to you too. So that's understandable. But what actually created the physical like wealth of the money was because spiritually the person was aligned to know what their needs were or to know where the energy was to get what they needed. They were in alignment to work the energy. They didn't have a blockage. So 8 is a super manifestation number, but we are in a physical reality. And so physical power gets a lot of things done and ushers in a lot of power with the lessons and majesty with the lessons too. Again, it's a whole show within itself of what abundance truly means and what 8 means. But yep, that's how I'll answer it.
Um, and so if she wanted to list her house
Oh,
for sale, would she want to pick a date where, like, the
oh
the
sorry
the
about
day, the
that.
month, and the year all added up to 8? Would we want to find, so let's say she wanted to list her house, next month in October, would we include the 2024 and the day and the month, and would we want them to all add up to 8, or would there be other things at play?
So you would look at her chart. You look at her chart because we all have certain things within our energy, like how 8 would work for me and for my highest good is different with how 8 would work with you, Jennifer and Beatrice. Okay, so you have to honor that. And with 8, 8 is a number of physical completion, not spiritual completion, but physical completion. And usually 8 shows up in places where you have contracts, where you are solidifying something. So I wouldn't be surprised if coincidentally, when you sell the house around that time, you land in 8th month, right? So it's kind of just like 8 is what you reap after you sow. Okay. Again, so it's more the completion aspect. With selling your house, you want to look at the 5s and the 4s. 4 is the number of structure, but it deals with architecture and the home a lot. And 5 is about transitioning, moving, letting go, embracing the change. So if you're trying to sell your house, the 4s and the 5s are all about matters of the house and how you need to transition. So I would look at 4s and 5s for selling a house. And if you have aspects of 8s and 9s in there too as well, those are great, great house selling numbers, all if they're all mixed up together. But you really want to be looking at the 4s and the 5s. If you plan things around 8s and 9s, they will lead you more into spiritual lessons or what you could have done to be ready for things. And all of a sudden, you kind of find yourself missing the mark. Look more towards what's going to help get you there rather than, oh, like I'm planning things on a I did it sign. I hope that makes
Okay,
sense.
very
I did it.
helpful. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I want to say hi to Jessica. We're actually going to be doing some readings in the next segment because we're going to be on the psychic hour with Kelly, and I'm going to be her guest around 1 o'clock. And so we'll be doing some readings in that hour as well. So I'm glad you're here, girl. Thank you for coming. So let's go ahead and wrap it up, Kelly. Any last minute words you'd like to leave with all of us? And thank you for being so illuminating and sharing that wealth of knowledge because it's been so interesting for all of us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your luminance. I can't speak today. Thank you for your luminance. That's not a word. Your luminosity. There you go as well. Luminosity as well.
We
I
love
really
words.
we do love words. You love writing poetry and I do too. I don't write as much as you in that department, but we love words. We truly do. And so thank you for allowing me to share my numbers and my words today. The last thing I'll say is we are in a year of 8s and we are in a month of 8s with the September amongst us within the world month and the world year. And so it's really about looking at ourselves and understanding what we're responsible for in life within the greater good and within our own self. What have we allowed and what are we going to do about it? So it's time to be responsible for what we're creating on another level.
Self-responsibility, personal responsibility.
Yes,
Yeah,
personal
that's a big
responsibility
that would
and
explain why
accountability.
self-care and self-love have been so important too in taking care of the physical health because it all ties in with personal responsibility. I love that. I love that. I feel like that's going to move us forward and help us to elevate collectively. So I love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Kelly. And thank you everybody for coming on today and for interacting and all of your great questions and all of your beautiful comments. We love you very much. Thank you for all of your support. Um, and for liking, sharing, tagging, hearting, commenting. It helps to keep the algorithms going so we can grow and serve more people. So we really, really appreciate all of that. And just as a final affirmation, may all of this love, fun, joy, creativity, and healing that's been with us this whole time since we started be spread across the world and beyond so that every form of consciousness can feel loved and cared for. And may we have more peace on earth, and anybody who's not where there should be, may they be home in the arms of angels as well. Please, everybody, live well, love well, and love you well. We will be back next Friday on Embracing Infinity with Steve Spur as our guest, and that will be lots of fun. And have a quick lunch, a quick dinner, and we will be back on the Psychic Hour with host Kelly Brickel in just a few minutes around 1 o'clock. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody, and goodbye. Thank you, Kelly. Bye, everyone.
Bye.